So, hey, you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Memorial Day weekend, by the way. Shout out to those of you who are, actively in the military and or who have served. Okay. Um, so, you guys, listen. I'm sitting here dozing off, and I said, before I go to bed, I need to get on my YouTube page. I need to discuss some teas, because, baby, when I tell y'all, I'm always wanting outside opinions. Because sometimes I feel like we get in our own little, feelings and stuff, and we sometimes want to like ask outside people questions. And so I'm just going to talk about some things that are just kind of random, and I'm really going to try to keep this under 20 minutes, by the way, because it's pretty late. It's 12:15 a.m. And so I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys had a great weekend so far. And so, of course, you guys, so something that I've been kind of thinking about, which I think is actually kind of crazy, I will be doing some type of panel, and I'm thinking it's going to be in June, maybe like the first week of June. I'll come, on here, and I will, say any of you want to join, or if you're, if you know of anyone who may be interested in doing some type of, panel for many topics. But I think I want to start it with the inside out. And the inside, of course, is the LGBT community. So I want to have something based on that, right? And so, of course, going into this, something pop up. Y'all be having ideas in my mind, and I be, thinking about a lot of things. And sometimes I don't like actually act upon them, or I don't speak about them, because I feel like, maybe I'm the only one thinking and feeling this way. I don't know. And so there's a lot with a lot. And I'm going to pose this in this way so it doesn't appear that it's an attack or it's a bash, because there's two things that go hand in hand. And I kind of discussed this privately with, some people I know. And I was like, oh my God, I'm bringing it to my YouTube people. So let's get into this, and this won't be too deep. Okay, so the African diaspora, or the African spirituality, most of the paths that are accessible to, let's say, Black Americans, let's start off basic, Black Americans, these paths believe in not karma per se, but they believe that the spirits that are over you, you cannot, that's like divinity. That's definitive power, right? And if you, rebel against it or oppose that energy, that these spirits will, bring, they'll wreak havoc on you, right? And it's not in the next life that you're going to get fucked up. It's this life, right? And of course, I give you a list of the African spiritualities that believe in this, that believes in this principle and this idea. And so going into this show, like voodoo and hoodoo, right? These are considered African spiritualities. And I don't even really care pretty much for TikTok. I would say this to you guys. I don't care for TikTok. I feel like a lot of people just say what they want on TikTok. Kind of how YouTube used to be. People just come on YouTube to talk about shit, just to get a check and shit, get followers. I don't know, girl. They sitting there act like they magical and shit. I don't know. It's just a lot with a lot. So I feel like YouTube or TikTok is the new, craze of that, right? Like people are just be making shit that just, it's like, girl, you have to be like schizophrenic, bipolar, or some type of, under some type of spiritual psychosis to relate to a lot of these spiritual topics that these people be talking about. And it even be terms and stuff that I've never heard about. And I'm even reaching out to, I'm going to call, them my elders, people who taught me the ways of the arts and stuff, esoteric and exoteric information. And they're like, that doesn't make sense. That sounds similar to, blah, 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 but that's not what it's given. So I'm like, where do people getting this ideas and shit from, right? And I kind of want to take a deep dive in that down the line. But when this all the shit that's taking place in New Orleans, y'all, like, I was just sitting here thinking to myself, right? And I did talk about it lightly. I did a YouTube about me thinking, or me telling you guys that I don't think it's, anything spiritual. I do feel like, or outside of, magic's being done, things are being performed, but I don't think it's the ancestors speaking up and speaking out, because there's a lot of things that are being done, even by the descendants of these slaves. And I believe that Big Mama and Big Papa will be whooping your ass before they whoop these people asses. And it's just my honest opinion on that. When it comes to the household, and I'm willing to stand corrected. When it comes to the Black household, when you show your ass out at school or in any type of public place, baby, and somebody, do what they did to you, get you together, bitch, right there in front of everybody, there may be a little slight read, maybe grandmama, mama, big mama might, read the lady down, if they feel that type of way. I don't know, maybe y'all don't have a mama or aunties or relatives like me, like like I did, but girl, they're very boisterous. They tell you how it is, girl, and they were about that life, okay? And so when y'all got back home, then that's when y'all got read the fuck down, got beat the fuck up. And I think at a period of time, and I don't even say it like that, but at a point in time, the teachers and shit used to be able to whoop y'all ass and shit. So the mama and daddies allowed teachers and shit to get into that ass. And so I'm just thinking to myself, like, why would y'all think that the ancestors would be so proud of what most of their descendants are doing, how they're acting and treating each other, that they would be attacking these so-called white people first before they'd be attacking y'all asses? Like, where is the common sense that, I'm just thinking about this. I'm just talking. It's just ideas I have in my mind where I'm just like, it just doesn't make sense to me to jump to that. It's like, whoa. And then even going into some videos that I came across, not on TikTok, but they were TikTok videos. Cause it did that little stupid ass, stupid ass shit. TikTok be doing at the end of the video. You know the noise they be making, all the shit, the annoying ass shit. Girl. They were trying to say these 9 people getting out of jail, it was spiritual because it was right by the French Quarters, within 2 miles of the French Quarters, and there was some hoodoo done. And I'm just like, girl, if voodoo and hoodoo is African spirituality, that's a part of the African spirituality, arena. If you did the crime, you do the time. These are not innocent people that got locked up. These are people that committed crimes, and some of them committed crimes multiply. You think that the ancestors are really going to be like, you didn't learn your lesson, you committed your crimes, you did some fucked up ass shit, and I'm going to help you get out. So you could be more of a menace to society. You could do some fucked up, you could continue to do the shit you were doing. Do y'all really think that the ancestors are just dumb? And just girl, like, I be really wanting to know what these people be thinking when it's always about the African ancestors, or it's about the African magic, people doing hoodoo and voodoo, and that's how these people got locked up. No, bitch, they should have did hoodoo and voodoo to not get locked up in the first place. Now, that would be believable. Okay? Better yet, they shouldn't have done the ancestors should have been helping them get their life together before they did the fucking crimes. Can we talk about it? Or is that a little too deep for y'all? So I'm just like, girl, what? And then people celebrating this shit. Or I'm just like, girl, am I detached from society? Am I detached from the ebb and flow of how the modern day person think? Like, girl, am I losing it? Am I disconnected from shit? So I'm just like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And then people are literally rejoicing about it. I'm just like, girl, but at the same time, the same people that are celebrating this, I told y'all this before, and we're going to talk about this very lightly, that a lot of these unsolved Black crimes were done by other Black people. And a lot of these baby mamas, a lot of these people mothers, a lot of these people's best friends know that these people committed these crimes, and they're not turning them in. So while we're celebrating the ancestors getting together, white people who owned a plantation, one of the biggest plantations of the South, right? While you're celebrating the ancestors burning that shit down, because whatever they got going on, why are we not celebrating ancestors showing up and showing out and getting you together for taking out your own brethren? Because that'd be the fakest shit that I'd be sitting there talking about, girl. There's no unity. There's no acceptance of each other. And then, like the Black Eyed Peas said, when you have hate in your heart for your own race, you leave room for discriminate, and you allow other people to come in and to also treat you like you treat your own people. So if you want to see love and respect from white people, Hispanic people, and Asian people, you got to start showing each other fucking love. And to me, I don't see that shit. And that's why I look at people, a lot of people who look like me with a motherfucking strange face, where I'm like, bitch, yeah, bitch, you hate yourself, bitch. So you're not gonna be able to protect me. You're not gonna be able to show love to me because you don't love yourself. So, bitch, anybody who looks like you, anybody that's connected to you that may be doing better than you, who are not doing the same shit you're doing, you look at them as a threat. When I'm not threat, you're the threat. And so that's what it comes out for me. I'm just like, are people losing their mind? Like, are they losing their ever loving mind? And then it'd be also giving me too, like the white folks just be having all these ideas, these racist white folks, they be having all these ideas about how black people act and who black people are. And just like every time there's an opportunity that comes along, it's like the black people prove these people right. And also goes even into to other press groups as well, because I'm going to speak about the press groups that I'm a part of. Okay, can we talk about it for a minute? It also segues into the LGBTQIA community as well. You know, there's a lot of discrimination and separation within our own community. You know, there's a lot of trans that don't like trans. There's a lot of gay boys who don't like trans. There's a lot of trans that don't like gay boys. There's a lot of, gay boys who don't like lesbians. There's a lot of lesbians who don't like gay boys. It's just a lot with a lot, right? And we're a very small community of people, by the way. Regardless of how much you see it being flaunted on TV and how much you hear being spoken about. It's a very small community of LGBT people, right? And so either way, these people have had ideas about LGBT people for a very long time. And I feel like people who, lost their lives, a lot of people lost their lives in the past to make people view LGBT people as sane, normal, functioning people that just so happens like people of the same sex or people of the same representation. But it's like, girl, in this new day and age, it's like people are doing everything in their power to prove these people right? Not prove them wrong, because the people fought to prove them wrong, right? And there's a lot, Stonewall, there's a lot of, cafeteria, Compton cafeteria. Like, girl, there's a lot of protests, a lot of things that happened in the, past 40, 30, 40 years to, allow the heterosexual community to create some type of alliance with the LGBT community. But like I said, what we're saying now, it's like, girl, that shit's never going to happen. Girl, as what we say now, girl, it ain't never going to happen. Gay people they're going to continue to be misfits and outcasts. And nobody's really talking about it. Other LGBT people are kind of like throwing it under the rug. They don't really give a fuck. They're like, well, that's their business, not mine. It's like, but at the end of the day, it is your business, because bitch, when they meet you, they're going to think you just like them as well, because you look like them, you act like them, and you talk like them. And now you're going to be fighting a battle for them when they're not even there. And that's what it comes down to, right? And so even going into something we were talking about earlier about the no U-turn signs in LA, y'all. Now, of course, this is kind of old information, y'all. It's going on a year that this was like discussed and shit, girl. But, the no U-turn signs in LA, particularly, neighborhoods where gay people go cruising and stuff. And y'all, I can tell y'all this right now from inside out, because, I am a femdom, right? Actively, not as active as I used to be, but I am still a part of that BDSM lifestyle. And so I am very aware of a lot of the lingo, a lot of the terminology, a lot of the, fetishes, let's say fetishes. And when it comes down to fetishes, the extreme ones, especially the extreme ones, the ones that are really open to those type of fetishes are bisexual and or LGBT, well, that's still LGBT people. When it comes to heterosexual identifying males and females, they're a little more strict. They're a little more, confined. Like, they don't want to do too much, and they let it be known, I'm not open to that. Please don't disrespect. And so that's what it comes down to. And so I'm like, me knowing what I know in old video footages that I've, seen with my own eyes, and older LGBT people telling me stories about how they used to get it on at college campus bathrooms and stuff. I'm like, these people were reckless as fuck in the motherfucking 80s and 90s, girl. You had a video of and we talked about this before, lightly, politely, and very slightly, where there was a lesbian stud out there who used to go to the clubs out there in Atlanta, and she would put a strap on in her pants, and she was doing these gay boys in the bathroom. And she was even saying on this podcast, y'all, years ago, y'all, that she apologized. She looked right at the camera and she apologized. She said, if you remember me at the boys' bathroom and the lights were out and I wouldn't let you grab my face, turn around, it was me who did it. So basically this was sodomizing, right? And I'm like, was it sodomizing? Because people are going to a club looking to fuck anyway. Nobody in their right mind do that shit anyway. That's very predatorial, very perverted. in my honest opinion. Ain't nobody going to no nightclub, ain't nobody going to no bar, ain't nobody going to no restaurant, ain't nobody going to no park, ain't nobody going to no library looking for sexual kinks and, that type of shit unless they are sexually predatorial. Those are the ones that do shit like that. Okay. And so it's like, girl, like if these are the stories I'm being told, right? Like, girl, even like I met a guy like a couple of months ago, without getting too deep into it, who is like a retired BDSM stub. And I was just like, I don't know his stories because, daddy's like 55 years old, so he's been around the block, some shit. And he was telling about like the weird shit he used to do. And I'm like, damn, that's why people are bored now. That's why the LGBT community are doing even more extreme shit. You got the gay boys trying to be trannies now. You got the trannies being straight people, studs now. I mean, girl, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, honey, in the LGBT community, LGBTQILPA, whatever, LGBT plus. We're going to say the LGBT plus community. And so I'm just like, girl, so these no U-turn signs were implemented because neighbors of this neighborhood was complaining about how these areas were used for gay people to hook up. Now they didn't get in depth about what they meant by that. This was the 1997 and stuff, y'all. But I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, I can see it going down. I can see the U-turns and treating this boulevard like it was a whole a track or something, hoes and shit, prostitutes everywhere, people pulling out, doing shit in the car, getting let out of the car, making U-turn after U-turn after U-turn. I can also imagine what violent things happened that were not reported. Because even going and said as well, I talked to older LGBT community people, and they said in the 80s and the 90s, a lot of crimes were done to them that they did not report to the police because they were afraid of being also attacked by the police and stuff. And so it's like, even in LA, shit like that happens. So it's like, honey, like they did not create these signs because, the U-turn is the gay thing and we're going to make this only for the gay people. Girl, it was really just a lot going on. Like, I'm willing to put my hand on fire for this, but it was a lot going on. And even going into like some of the signs saying between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m., which of course the freaks come out at night. Which of course, that's when, y'all be getting whatever. Even like 10 years ago, I met these transgenders, people. I don't know. We're going to say people who would masquerade in women's garments. I don't know if they trans, non-binary, bisexual, transvestites. I don't know what to call them. We're just going to say Cheryl and Carisha. There you go. But they over here doing their little thing, honey, respectfully, humbly, really being serious. And they were over here talking about how they used to cruise in the car looking for straight men and shit to, do things that would, at the grocery stores and shit. And I'm like, who is doing that? What normal-minded, mentally and emotionally intelligent woman or man is going on, it's called cruising, in their vehicle, randomly looking for straight people who's walking along? Hey, you need a ride? Can I? So I'm just like, girl, it's a lot with a lot. And this is why these things were implemented, girl, because y'all were doing this shit 5 or 10 years ago. 2017, girl, one of the girls called it roadside assistance. I didn't know what the hell that meant. I was like, girl, I got me some roadside assistance. And mom was like, welcome to the club. I'm thinking it was a real club, girl, because I got roadside assistance on my vehicle and shit. But coming to find out, she was talking about giving head to people on the side of the road, and she getting head on the side of the road. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on with these people? Girl, like, you're beautiful, right? You're sexy. You're the baddest bitch, right? You paid, $350,000 for your surgery, which, by the way, they look blotchy, clocky, and just ugh. But anyway, that's my business, girl. I ain't doing you. But girl, why you gotta be like cruising for people and begging people to get in your vehicle so you can taste them and stuff? You just can't be like a normal woman and let these men see what they like and then come out, and ask if you want to give it to them or something. Like, I just don't know. It's just a little strange for me. So I'm like, I see why. And even going into that area in particular, y'all, I have my little, even when I lived in Northern California, y'all, I had my little story times, my little run-ins with the LA people. And these people, girl, there was a lot going on. The LA Blade, girl, shout out to the LA Blade back in the day. I learned a lot of secrets from the LA communities, the LA, neighborhoods and stuff, girl. And Echo Park and, Silver, Park and just all these other places in Hawthorne and Rosecrans and even like some of the hot spots where the thug stuff be at the DL experiences and shit. And like I'm not here to expose, so we're not gonna get into stories and all that good stuff. But I'm just like, girl, I heard a lot, and even going into some of them contracting, HIV and stuff, and I'm just like, it's reckless behavior. It's dangerous, reckless behavior. And even now in 2025, y'all, and this is really sad, y'all. Like, I try not to think about it because it's really traumatizing for me. I am STD and HIV negative, girl, yeah. I'm a clean person. I'm so thankful and grateful when it comes down to having sexual fun with people. I'm very, aware of my body and energies and all that good stuff. But, to know that other people, don't really care about themselves enough and end up getting stuff, y'all, it's very traumatizing for me. And, it shakes me up. And so, like, even going into some of the stories and things I've seen where people are like saying they're on PrEP modern day, 2025, they said they're on PrEP and they're out here taking BB, bareback. And, they're still doing sexual things, not with one partner. And I was even talking about this, with a sister of mine, like somebody that I know, girl, for like 4 years, they were having like 3 sexual partners a day. And I'm like, that can't be smart at all. That can't be safe. And of course, they're on PrEP. But I'm like, yeah, but that don't mean shit. It's still like hygiene. It's still chemistry wise. It's still other people's saliva. It's still other people's bodily fluids. It's still like it's other stuff going on. So it's like, it has to be something not right in the brain, and take out even like a man and a man having sex, a woman and a woman, because I think that's beautiful. I think celebrating another person's body, whether it's the same sex or the opposite sex, is a beautiful thing. So that's not where that is with that, but it's like, you have to be smart with who and what you're doing things with, and you have to understand the risks that are involved when doing these things. And no matter how turned on you are, you got to still use your brain. So it has to be some type of mental disconnection or some type of mental disturbance or some type of mental blockage to where you're reckless with your sexual activities, and you're reckless with, no matter even if you're using, let's say, even condoms, you should still be careful about who you're having intercourse and stuff with, because condoms do break. And so it's just a lot with a lot. Like I said, when I'm sitting here thinking about all this stuff, y'all, and even as a sex worker, right? My past as an escort, baby, I did it for a very long time, 7 years. And so that was my main bread and butter. And like I said, most of my people, I would say 99% of my people, I did not have any type of sexual activities with, because for one, I was not really attracted to them. For 2, I didn't think they were clean. And for 3, I'm just like, girl, it takes a lot to get me going, and it's all in my mind, right? You got to be able to mentally stimulate me. And so, like I said, there's a lot with a lot. And I'm like, I don't think the U-turn signs was homophobic and stuff. I think it was letting you guys know to kind of tame your shit. Okay, that's what it was telling you. I think even going into the whole, no cruising. Yeah, girl, could you imagine people trying to get home at 11 o'clock at night because they wanted to go to Ralph's or something. They wanted to go up to Aldi's or something to go get them something. Hell, maybe it was 7-Eleven to get them some M&Ms and some Skittles and shit. Like Brandy said, shout out to Brandy Norwood. But girl, maybe they want to go to 7-Eleven, get them some M&Ms and shit, girl. And girl, they getting stopped and shit. They're like, what the fuck going on? There's a parade or something going on. All these cars being stopped and shit. You got queens jumping in and out, drag queens, butch queens, femme queens jumping out. Like, girl, could you imagine that? Listen, I get irritated as fuck, y'all, when it's congested with traffic. And I would think, girl, they need to put, where's the no U-turn signs now, or no cruising signs in these parts? Now I know the history of the shit. They need to install the shit over here, and fuck it about if it's gay or straight, girl. You should be cruising. You slowing me down. I'm trying to get home, and I'm stopping and going because you stopping and going because you picking up one girl, dropping off another girl, picking up one, and they're just like, what the fuck is going on here? Is this a hostro? And I would have to get on the local Reddit and ask people, is this a hostro? Because I see a lot of people get in and out of cars on and off, or they go down the street, make you turn, get out the car. And so anyway, they were clocking the T, and shame on the people who tried to protest this no U-turn signs and shit. Oh, girl, I want to send them a personal message too, by the way. Girl, as soon as I get that T, I'm sending them a personal message because it's foolery. It's foolery, and it's why the straight community view us the way they view us now, because it's stupid as hell. Girl, what next we're gonna say? Wearing the color black is racist? Wearing white is racist because the KKK wear white? And wearing all black is the Black Panther. So, girl, black supremacy, white supremacy. So we're gonna start banning all black and all white outfits now. Or you can't go to the airport in all white or all black outfits. Like, make it make sense. Like, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And so, like I said, I just don't understand the mindsets of people right now. Like, it's some type of spiritual disturbances that is taking place. And even going into, I told y'all, you know, infiltrations, like to knock down, not to infiltrate and to build up, but to infiltrate and destroy. You know, you have a lot of people posing as things and all the good stuff. We had another conversation about this. That's why I'm going to do an LGBT panel because y'all, it's pure love. I will fight or flight for my LGBT people because, of course, regardless of how passable I assume that I am because how people treat me, I still know that I'm part of that community. Bitch, and if you're slapping and fucking up another LGBT individual, you're practically doing it to me as well, right? But I'm not going to fight for other people when they're not fighting for me. But like I said, in the same token, you know, something happened a couple of weeks ago where there was a trans identifying individual walked into a woman's restroom with a full-blown beard, and I will be traumatized even as a trans person seeing that. You know, I'm using a woman's restroom and I see this, you know, woman with a long beard. I mean, girl, I'm not used to seeing shit like that, you know, trans or not. And so that would throw me off. And so it became a, you know, a altercation. And I'm trans and I really think that a lot of people are just adopting terminology. I think a lot of people are adopting. And even going into this as well, y'all, kind of proposing this, like DID. I think a lot of people don't know the difference between gender dysmorphia or gender dysphoria. And even on top of that, identity, dissociative identity disorder. I had a conversation with a so-called trans person that I knew since 2011. I actually defended this trans person. They were being attacked by other trans people. And of course, I'm learning nowadays that, you know, not all trans are created the same because some trans are just gay men that transition to get straight dick or to, you know, be predators in somehow, some way. That's not my story because with or without a man, baby, I'm going to be mean. Can we talk about it? With or without attention, I'm going to be mean. And so either way, there's a lot of stories behind people transitioning. But this person, I actually got to, you know them, talk to them. We stayed together in Airbnbs. We traveled together. We were in close proximities, you know, with each other. And me hearing their stories, I was like, this is like, let me tell y'all this. And this is what's even crazier, right? So people who have DID, they have a lapse in their memory when it comes to certain experiences. But when it comes to other experiences, they remember it verbatim, right? Like, I know it's there, blah, 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 whatever. And so this person will have, you know, this bad memory when it comes to certain things. Like, hey, girl, do you remember when you were dressed up in those leggings and stockings and you went to the store and they clocked your tea? And they're like, no, I don't remember that. And it's like, really? You don't remember that? And they called you sir. And I kind of like protected you. And they were like, is this your brother or something? I was like, oh, no, this is my friend. And then they were trying to get into my tea. And when I, you know, told them my tea, they gagged. And it was like, well, you look better and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, I don't remember that at all. Right. But then, y'all, this is a recent experience, right? Let's say within the past 2 years of this conversation. But then mysteriously 5 years before that, when the person was like in their male attire, their male energy, they had a fond memory. Do you remember that time you were on camera and we caught you doing blah, 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 and your wig slipped off and blah, and it's like, oh, that's so funny that you remember that, but you don't remember that. So with the DID shit, like I said, when they're in their other personality, you guys, they don't have any memory, or the memory is very choppy when they're in that experience. And so I'm like, I feel like a lot of trans people have dissociative identity disorder. I don't think it's gender dysphoria or gender dysmorphia. I think it is DID. I think that even a lot of them also transition because they had some type of trauma as a male. Let's say this, and the transition helped them to kind of escape that trauma. And so in their transition, they start to change their face, their body, and they're thinking they're running from the trauma, but it comes back and it hurts them. And of course, it's the drug addiction and it's the sexual, promiscuous activities and stuff. And so either way, I'm like, girl, like I think that's a lot of the so-called trans story. And of course, like I said, even going into, some of them girl will go crazy if they don't get no penis. They will go crazy if they can't get validated in their womanness. They would say that I have to be, long, luscious hair, full lips, big boobs in order for me to feel like a woman. Without me having that, I don't feel like it. So it's just like there's a lot with a lot. And I'm just like, honey, listen, if this is your tea, get your therapy, work through that, right? But like I said, on the backside, you're making the modern day society, right? Because gender dysphoria, baby, we feel a whole nother way. Baby, we wouldn't dare come out with a full face and beard on. We wouldn't dare come out like the everyday anxiety of an actual trans person who is different from what like they were born a certain way or they're presented a certain way and it's totally different from what they feel inside. Every single day, on the minute, on the second, your anxiety and your stress comes from you feeling like, does this make me feel masculine? Does this make me look masculine? Does this make me sound masculine? If I do this, will it be a manly thing? You're not comfortable being seen as and referred to as a sir or a him. If you are a trans, a man, a trans man that suffers from gender dysphoria, you're not comfortable being seen as she or her. Right? So you're going to do everything in your power to make sure that people see you and respect you. Even if that means life or death, y'all. And like I said, for me, I can speak about that. It was life or death for me. Bitch, there was not no like, well, maybe some days I can do it, some days I can't. Like, girl, it was either do it or I'm out of here. And when I say out of here, there's a whole nother way of being out of here. And so, like I said, that's what it comes down to. There's no soft gender dysphoria. There's not, from a scale from 1 to 10, I have light gender dysphoria, because at that point, you're just a gay male that have feminine characteristics. And even going into the Harry Benjamin standard of care, he mentions that even gay male have female qualities. Gay women have male qualities. That doesn't make them trans. It is a feeling of a strong urge, a strong desire that makes somebody actually trans. And girl, like I said, coming out, seeing yourself as a woman, because only you know what you feel like in the inside. So you look in the mirror, you're like, well, you see my dad with a beard, but it's okay if I got a beard because I still feel like a woman and a beard doesn't make me run away. It's like you don't have gender dysphoria there, baby. So there's probably just a DID situation there, or there's some other type of trauma that's not resolved that needs to be resolved there. And that's why I'm very big on once, like I said, seeing a therapist, getting help, y'all, talking to people, getting a support group, getting people who understand, who's willing to support you on your journey, but definitely getting medical, psychiatric, psychological treatment. Okay. Everybody, I think, should get that. But as a LGBT person, or somebody who is considered oppressed in society within the past 200, 300 years, it is definitely helpful to get that type of help and to have that burden released off of you. And then you will find yourself. And I also think too, that's why a lot of people are also detransitioning when it comes to trans people. I think a lot of people, they're wrestling within themselves when it comes to even identifying as a male or female. So they're like, oh, it's okay, I'll be both. And I'm just like, baby, that's your business, but that's not my story. And then I said on the flip side, people like me fought. They fought to be respected as, to be seen as, to be treated as. And it's not just being treated as because I think you should treat me as. You're going to treat me as a goddess because I carry myself as a goddess. You're going to talk to me as a woman because I carry myself that way. I'm not going to fight with you and tell you to call me ma'am, not sir, because I think you should, when in reality, I'm still giving like I could be your brother. That's not how that works, babe. With respect. With humility, with grace, with a caring heart. But like I said, it's given in 2025, y'all. These people, they were always correct. The straights were correct about the LGBT. The whites were correct about the blacks. And anybody, who believed in that, because I feel like the stereotypes are being proven every day by the majority of people. At least that's what social media has us thinking. And even as a little side note, y'all, and I even told this to one of my sisters today, I'm really moving into the area of really, I already mind my business, but like really minding my business. And I really don't want to hear anything about anything collectively, because I feel like that, I believe in the power of the mind. I believe in the power of affirmations. I believe that, the world ended several times and somebody somehow survived. And in that survival, that's how we are here through all these endings, these world's endings, these natural disasters that erase life off this planet. And y'all do your research on this. And so, even in a sense of this, everybody's not going to suffer from the economical collapse. Everybody's not going to suffer from the taxes that Donald Trump is passing to make the rich and the poor. Everybody's not going to suffer from ABC energy because, like I said, it's what you subscribe to. And I even said this too: obtain, retain, attain. Okay, I think these are three words that people should really do their research on, study them, look up synonyms for them, and really become acquainted with these words, because you are really, when you're entertaining, when you're really allowing energy stuff in you, you are taking on an identity of those sorts. And I always say that everything you hear is half true, half lies, because half truth would be, it is what you see, you ingest, right? We have ingesting and we have digesting. So you're ingesting everything you see, right? You're digesting everything you put inside of your mouth. But what you're seeing and what you're hearing, you're ingesting that, right? You're having an exchange of energy with that. And so looking at news and looking at information where it's trauma and, people like you, if you're tall, if you're 6'3" with red hair, blue eyes, Donald Trump's putting you on a bounty on your head now. Stuff like that, like I said, it's meant to keep you in a state of fear, which then, makes sure, it makes you incapacitated. It makes you, lose your powers. It allows you to really honestly lose yourself. You get caught up in what they're telling you from what you actually know and feel. Like, girl, it will make a sane person go crazy. And so we have to learn that everything that is out there, it's not for you. Okay? Everything, what they say, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Baby, we should be out here thinking, and I keep telling you this, thinking about your future. Short-term goals are good because it gets you from today to Monday, to Wednesday to Thursday to Friday, whatever. But long-term goals is what's going to allow you to be, stable and secure for the rest of your life. No matter how old you are right now, you should be getting financially intelligent. You should be having financial literacy. Like, regardless if your mama told you, your daddy told you, your auntie told you. Girl, like I said, we can look up Cardi B. We can look up what Megan Thee Stallion got going on. We can look up what the MAGAs are doing. We can look up all this other shit they got going on that doesn't really apply to anybody in particular. Because, bitch, everybody got opinions, just like assholes. So, girl, your opinion don't affect me, girl. You can't do shit to me, girl. And I believe that my ancestors and my spirits reign supreme over my motherfucking reality. Hello? Can we talk about it? And so nothing that you say or do will shift, break, stop, or detour me off of my motherfucking progress. Okay, that's how secured I am in my motherfucking magic. Can we talk about it? Or is that a little too deep for y'all? Yeah, let me know if everything, girl, we still on the same topic. I don't want to make sure. So that's what it comes down to. Knowing your position. Knowing how to make your position stronger and more secured, and how you know your position, and you know how to and to know how to make your position more stronger and secured, you learn everything you can about yourself. All your strengths, all your weaknesses. You learn about budgeting. You learn about spending, expenses, credits, debits, liability, assets. Girl, listen, y'all, I'm gonna tell you right now. I know people right now that do not got renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance. Baby, everything you own should be insured. I got people right now that got possessions that they're not even protecting. It's just wide open. And it's like, girl, this is why abundance and prosperity does not flow. It's why when it comes, it must go. Abundance and prosperity will not flow. When it comes, it must go, because you have not learned how to obtain, retain, and motherfucking regain, if you want to get into that one. And so that's what it comes down to. And so this is what you should be really focusing on right now. When I mentioned that the economic, crisis is approaching, you learn everything you can about money. You know, everything you can about your money, where your money's going, how you getting your money, what can you do to increase your money flow? Like this is the shit that you. So whenever you're talking about they passed the laws that they're making it to where segregation is real and black folks can't hang out with black white folks, also the bullshit they got. Girl, bye. You better learn about yourself. You better learn about yourself and your abilities because they're gonna need you before you need them, and that's for damn sure. So let them do what they think they're doing. Let them think that they can survive at the top without you being at the bottom. Can we talk about it? Can we talk about? Let them think that. Now, as a side note, y'all, because of course I want to, I want some feedback from y'all about this tea. And then, girl, we gotta wait until we do a panel, girl. We gonna break up these topics again because baby, I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on with the LGBT community. I guess I don't got enough LGBT friends out there. I guess I don't got enough black friends neither. I thought my friends were black, girl. I thought even my albino sister was black, girl. I mean, girl, I'm sorry. I thought all my sisters was black. Can we talk about it? And when I say sister, I mean my spiritual sisters that I've become lifelong friends with. Baby, black on top of black on top of black. In culture, in pride, in every essence of themselves, baby, they're black excellence. So like I said, maybe they're not black enough. I want to know what's the feedback with these, African ancestors fucking up Nottoway Plantation, but they're not fucking up their descendants. I want to know about the ancestors letting the nine get out of fucking jail and shit, but they committed the crime. Like, girl, why would your ancestors not want you to learn your lesson behind bars? They don't put you behind bars for you to have fun and girl, to humiliate you. They want you to learn a lesson. But unfortunately, a lot of you don't learn because you got to, goes hand in hand with other shit. But I'm not here to teach you about that, girl. That's the first thing I would do, girl. Listen, like I said, I'm not here to talk about it. We're going to keep it pushing. But guys, the final little topic thing before I, scoot on out of here. Click on out of here. Click. Bam. I want to know something because I do know there is, something called an age gap. And I do know, I was raised by a woman who, I'm in my mid-30s. I was raised by a woman who is in her 60s and a man who is in his 80s. Okay. And this is in the household. Of course, I had, godparents and, stepdads and biological fathers, who are also within the same, 70, 80, whatever. And 55 and all the good stuff, 60s, whatever. But I want to know something, y'all. Is it a certain community? Is it like, we'll say the 50s. So those of you who are born in the 70s and the 80s, maybe it's the 70s and 80s thing. I don't know. People who were raised in the 70s and the 80s. No. Yeah. So leave it. No, people who were born in the 70s, but they're raised in the 80s and 90s. So there we go. People who were raised in the 80s or 90s, maybe their philosophy is a little different from those who are not, because they did say every decade there's a different type of energy. Are y'all protective of those of you right now who are like, let's say 45 to 55? Are y'all protective of your friends? Or do y'all have to be friends of your friends? Do you have to know everything about your friends? Like, not like them personally, but let's say you want to know their boyfriend's contact information. You want to know if they meet new friends. You want to know what their friend's contact information is. You have like an address book with this information on it. Because I'm curious to know. I know the situation where someone has a friend who is, in their 50s. And I'm like, I kind of heard of this of somebody like in their 60s too. I think that would be 70 right now. But I'm like, maybe those who are in their 60s right now, their generation was not as confined or as possessive of their friendships. I don't know. Or maybe my mother, she was a black sheep of her family. She was hooked on and bullied by people. So I don't know, maybe my mom just was not, she had a smaller circle of friends and everybody else, in their 60s or who were raised in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s or the 70s and 80s, they had more friends. So they're more like this. I don't know. But for me, y'all, anyway. So yeah, they have a friend who is in their 50s and the friend is like, I got to know the rundown of everybody that you meet. Almost like a controlling situation. And I'm like, what? Like I'm sitting there thinking like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, like they want to be possessed. They want to know everybody, every friend, every associate. If I meet someone, they want to get to know them. We should all go hang out. We should. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Like I've heard similar stuff like that from people I know who are also in their 50s and their 60s. But I'm like, maybe that is a generational thing. Maybe those who are born or raised in the 80s, the 70s and the 80s, maybe that's their thing. Because, like I said, I was raised during the 90s and the early 2000s. And, baby, like, if we met friends together, yeah, we're all exchanging information. But if I met you today and then I met another friend outside of our friendship a month or two later or a year later, there's no intermingling that friendship. And I'm going to tell you this as well. I had experiences where I was like even befriending, like I had a cousin, a play cousin, who ended up being like my real cousin by marriage. Like we didn't even know this, y'all. We're like, we were hanging out. We were so cool with each other. And coming to find out, we were like cousins through marriage. And then I think their blood cousin was like my sister's half cousin and shit, y'all. It was crazy as hell, y'all. Yeah, it was crazy. And so we just hung out, y'all. We did a lot of things together. So we met separate friends and we met friends together. But we would intermingle the friends because that was like our safety thing. Like, okay, we're all, LGBT. And so we need people like us who are smart, who are not, criminals or whatever, who are also LGBT. So we can like confide in each other. So we were doing it, y'all. Long story short, I would tell my cousin something. And because we're all mutual friends, they were like, well, maybe this wasn't like this all the time, but I would tell my cousin something. And then my cousin would tell, let's say, Jeanette something. Jeanette would then tell Vivian something because let's say we're talking about Edgar. So nobody's telling Edgar that he's been talking about, even though the conversation is not about Edgar, or it wasn't even brought up for Edgar to be like topic of the conversation. It was me venting to my cousin about the situation. And because, I don't know, maybe it was a friend confiding in a friend. He's like, well, let me tell this friend. Let me tell that friend. Then before you know, everybody found out about it. Edgar got upset and made it seem like I was telling everybody this shit and I didn't come to him directly. And it's like, wait a minute. So who told Edgar this shit? And girl, it became a drama. It became a very nasty situation, y'all, to where Edgar, his family was like gangster, girl. They were like Mexican mafia type of shit, girl. And everybody ready to show up and regulate everybody. And girl, they were going to start with me. Okay. And so I was like, baby, wait, hold up. My life is on the line because y'all being messed as fuck. So I had to like let them know, like, bitch, first of all, everybody getting got if there's some type of retaliation. Second of all, babe, I confided in one of the friends. And because that friend wanted to vent to another friend, that's how this mess started. And so I learned right then and there, I'm not sharing friends. If we all meet each other at the same time, you guys, I'm okay with that because I'm not going to go vent to you about the friend that we met at the same time. But if I met you, 1 year, met another friend another year, or I met you here, this person there, or I met you through a friendship, like a business friendship, like I worked with you, or we were roommates or whatever, and then I met this person through a business relationship, but it was another type of business, whatever. Like I said, we're never going to intertwine that relationship because maybe that's a side of me that you don't know and that you don't need to know. Even going into venting, everybody needs to vent to somebody about people they know. It's not talking shit. I need to vent and I need to say, yeah, this person hurt my feelings because, friends hurt friends' feelings. That's just how it is. We're humans. Friends say things out of line and you don't, all the time directly go and be like, bitch, you offended me, blah, blah, blah. You're going to tell someone else, hey, this friend disrespected me. How should I respond to them? And so then the idea of now you're going to that friend and you're also confiding in them in drama. And now that everybody know your business, now y'all all fighting. Or better yet, a worse scenario, you're telling me shit about this other friend. Finally, when I meet this friend, I'm thinking about all the shit you're talking about this friend. And now I'm giving the friend the side eye. I'm being sour with the friend. Because I'm like, yeah, I heard a lot about you, babe. You're a nasty ass piece of work. So it's like, for me, I don't mix friends. For me, yes, we could be cordial. We could do a friends hangout, but I don't do mutual friends. I don't do it. If you're my best friend or you're someone I met, like I said, years ago, you knew me when I was like a teenager and then I meet new friends in my 30s. Oh, baby, yeah, y'all could be cordial, high and by to each other. But girl, that whole sitting down and exchanging information stuff, no, ma'am, I don't work with that. Because one of you have to go, and then I'm gonna pick and shoot. Like, girl, that's how it would be for me. Because, girl, y'all gonna get messy. And even saying this to y'all, even recently, because I can't even say it's a trans thing or a black thing or woman to woman thing or man to man thing. I can't even say that because I knew somebody from 2011. We all work in the same field, y'all, the adult industry. These other two, they're still active in it. I'm not as active anymore as I was, more behind the scenes, hello. But either way, and so we're all going to be hanging out and, start a sisterhood together because we're all of a particular experience. And so I'm like, this is going to be fun. We're all adult entertainers. We're all successful adult entertainers. We're all trans. We all have, Latina background, all mixed, one, language, first language is Spanish. The other one, I don't know if the second language or first language is Spanish. I can't. No, she was taught Spanish because she was raised by her Mexican side, whatever. And bitch, I know Spanish in and out. So whatever. Hold on, let me drink this water, girl. I guess I'm talking too much. Hold on. With this fan on. Hold on. So by the way, y'all, it's cool, right? It's cool. Baby, when I tell y'all that this bitch was trying to connect, one of the girls, the girl I met in 2011 was trying to connect with the girl I met in 2017. And it was just a mess situation because the one in 2011 was trying to say, do you really want to meet up with her? Because she left me stuck in AZ. Like, girl, she was telling this girl the story as if like I was just this mean ass, flaky ass person. And I had to tell my side of the story, like, no, baby, what had happened was they booked the hotel. We got ready to fly out. I'm at the vet office all damn day. My dog is getting probed. He's getting blood work done because that's happened when you're flying your dogs on the fucking airlines or shit. They have to be healthy and all that. And right when we got there, bitch, I'm ready to go and I'm pooped because I said, bitch, as soon as I land, I'm going to bed. It was an hour and 45-minute flight. Bitch, after being up all day since 7 a.m., bitch, being in and out the fucking vet office from 7 to fucking 5 o'clock. The fucking plane left at 9 o'clock. I had to get to the airport at 7 o'clock. Girl, I had a poof long ass day. But Miss Thing, a little boy walked by the bag and he bumped the bag. My dog started barking, which he, because he's there to protect me. He needs to know what's going on with his mother. He can't see me, but he's hearing all this shit going on. So he barking, and the motherfucking airline's going to tell me, you need to get your dog under control or you're not going to fly. And so, bitch, you're not going to give me no motherfucking ultimatum, bitch, because I'm the customer. And I'm that girl. I like to show you that you don't run a fuck ass thing over here, girl. I'm the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. Bitch, give me my money back and I'm not flying with your motherfucking crappy ass airline. So, of course, she's over there saying, girl, you should have just shutted that dog up and got on that plane. For what? Girl, she disrespected me because this is my animal. So she practically told me, bitch, shut the fuck up or you're not flying. Bitch, that's my motherfucking money. $500 of my motherfucking dollars. Not to mention, I'm at the vet all fucking day, girl. So you got that right, girl. I'm going to go sit there and kiss ass to go fly. Bitch, for what? Support you for what? When you're giving me fucking attitude because you think you can? Because another bitch would have said, okay, I'll shut up. Bitch, bye. You're not my motherfucking master, bitch. So that's like, she was like, well, I don't think they're going to give you extra money. They sure did. And I did go back to the airport and I let her know. Can you let the little flight attendant know, the cute little Pachuki Dookie girl? Can you let her know I did get my money back? And let her know that I'm also giving her feedback. Yes, I sure did. Let her know she also getting feedback because I don't like her nasty ass attitude at 9 fucking o'clock. The plane was supposed to be here at 9 o'clock. It came at 9 fucking 33. It was already fucking 30 minutes late. You're going to try to tell me how the shit go? And even the other passenger was like, ooh, that is wrong that your dog barking. They said, exactly. So, bitch, either way, she didn't tell this girl the full story, y'all. And so with that being said, she made it seem I was just this crooked ass person. And when she was confronted, she was like, no, you need to ask her what was said because it didn't happen like that. So, of course, she's telling me a whole nother story. Now, I believe, the other one because, like, they never lied and they're good. They don't lie. They don't make shit up. This other bitch, she lie all the time. Mama like to Photoshop pictures and shit to make it look like you're this, 700-pound person when you're not. She like to Photoshop marks to show you as if you do drugs and shit. She's good at Photoshop, girl. She's a technological witch. She's good at like editing shit and bank statements and all that, girl. She's a scamming asshole. So, girl, I don't believe a fuck ass thing that kind of chum out because you're a liar. Everything about you is like, girl, your identity, girl, your sexual orientation, what you look like, your race, your ethnicity, it's all a fucking lie. Girl, bye. Don't play with me. Girl, I can't call your mama. I can't verify your daddy. I can't verify none of this information that you're telling me. So I don't trust you. So, bitch, like I said, That's where I said, yeah, there's no more introducing friends to friends. And then also I noticed a lot of friends tend to get a little jealous. And so, girl, I don't want to, yeah, I'd rather y'all just be cool with each other. Hi and bye, that's it. So like I said, you 50-year-olds, you know, 50, 45 to 55, are you all possessive of your friends? Do you all feel like, you know, you need to hang out with your friends' friends? You need to give your input of your friends' friends, or you believe in separating your tea? Because I believe in separating the tea, honey. You know, I feel like, girl, yeah, I believe in separating the tea, girl. Unless we met each other together, girl, there's no partnership. And it's another thing too, y'all. And this gets a little messy. You know, shout out to my people out there. Just to be done, I'm gonna tell you another experience. I'm gonna tell you another experience why I do not believe in forcing friendships upon each other. And or if I'm cool with you, I'm cool with you. I don't gotta hang out with your husband, your wife. I don't gotta hang out with your baby daddy. I don't gotta hang out with your other mutual friend. You have your own friendship. I have my own friendship. Girl, let me tell y'all two things. So there was a situation that happened years ago, but it turned into a nasty situation. And maybe this is the first time that somebody is going to hear this conversation, but it is something that has been forgiving, but has not been forgotten. And it really blew up. And so I had a living situation. I had a best friend at the time that I knew since I was a teenager. We met when we were 13 years old. So we were friends all the way up until I was about maybe 26. And so either way, y'all, like that's teenage, you know, young adult, and bitch, you know, almost like you're a grown ass woman. Anyway, y'all. So I would communicate with these people and I would say, hey, you know, can my friend come over? And they'll say, no, you know, this weekend, you know, we want to kind of be alone. I'm like, okay, well, I'll give y'all space. But I felt like it was not a communication. Like they were not saying, no, we don't want a third wheel. Like we all want to hang out, like you and us, but we don't want nobody else to come. Instead of it being said like that, it was said another way, which, like I said, it wasn't bad. Anyway, I'm really gonna be done to y'all because I got this fan on, honey, and girl, my throat is girl. It's like, girl, you talking too much. Hold on. So anyway, y'all, this particular situation changed everything. I asked if the friend could come over, and I'm assuming that this other person told their partner that this friend was coming. I don't know. I can't tell you. I would have to ask them. Like I said, it's forgotten, it's forgiven, but it's not forgotten. Like I still think about it, but we move past it. Especially one of the persons, you know, is no longer here, so it can't be like confronted or anything. And like I said, it's no hard feelings. You know, the past is the past. And so either way, it was their birthday, and of course, you know, they were like, well, I don't know. I don't think it was directly, but I think it was like, oh no, it was, yeah, you know, he can come, but just so you know, this other person want to go to the movies. The birthday girl want to go to the movies. She want to go have fun. And I made it clear, you guys can go do that. And you know, I can hang out with my friend, you know, him and I could just hang out. And they're like, no, you can come along. It'll be fun to celebrate, you know, her birthday with y'all, blah, blah, blah. Okay, y'all, we took it as whatever. Well, that day came, everything was nice. I felt the energy was a little funny. You know, me and this other friend kind of talked about it. We're like, ooh, something feels a little off. I was like, I know, I want to know what it is. So we all get in the place ready to go. And then the other, you know, situation, and like I said, I'm, you know, not going to say who, what, when, why, and how, but the other individual who was the partner of this other person was like, well, let me go in the house because she wants to talk to me. And so they go in, we're still in a car, and then she comes out by herself and she says, yeah, you know, the birthday girl, you know, she doesn't want to go. She said, we can go have fun ourselves. And so we were like, no, like we're doing this for her birthday because we could have just went, y'all, we're in the car heading there. We were like, no, this is her birthday. If she wants to go have fun, it needs to be by her. So y'all can go have fun if we want to go. I think they did going somewhere. I do believe that, or it was the plans were canceled all the way. I really don't remember exactly how that played out, but I do remember they did go somewhere. And sure enough, y'all, the birthday person was like irritated. They were upset. And then of course I ended up, you know, moving out. I ended up getting a paper that was like, bitch, we're giving you 30 days to be the fuck up out of here. And I was just like, what the hell? And so it was lack of communication. But that's another example of that whole combining friends with friends. I've always told this, individual that I'm closer with you. I feel like I got more in common with you. Just because you're married to someone or you're dating somebody, I don't have to befriend them as well. It's called we could be cordial, high and by, but don't force relationships. If people are not compatible energetically, don't force that, right? We're not compatible, we're not compatible. And it's okay. You can have, you don't have to, your friends don't have to be cool with your wife or your husband or you know what I mean? Or all your friends don't got to be cool and cordial. Like I said, but you can hang out with certain friends certain days, other friends certain days. Girl, like I said, you don't got to all be out. And so y'all, like I said, I've always thought about that one. Like that's another reason why I do not combine friends. That's another reason why I do not care for, like, if we're friends, I don't have to befriend your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband. I don't even got to know them. If you and I are friends and you meet another friend, you don't have to introduce that new friend to me. Now, if you want to for safety and security, you can introduce your new boyfriend, new husband, new wife, or whatever to me, definitely. But we are friends and that stops there. Our friendship is our friendship. Okay? We don't have to be in control of other things outside of that friendship. And so, anyway, y'all, that's just my thoughts on that, girl. Don't intermingle friends, but I do want to know 70s and 80s, those who grew up 50 years old, 45 to 55. Honey, are y'all possessive of y'all friends like that too? Are you like, I want to know your friends? I want to see who you talking to. I got to be friends too. If I'm not, I ain't fucking with you. Y'all got to be in the business too, because I feel like that's a little too much. I feel like it's a little possessive. I feel like that's a little controlling. Baby, I need you to have young people on how. Same thing with my husband or my boyfriend, when I decide to settle down. Baby, unless it's a couple thing, like we meet another couple together, baby, your friends don't have to be my friends. No, baby, I encourage you to have your own friends, and let me have my own friends. So, wait, baby, if something go down, I can go and I go vent to my friends about you. Can we talk about it? Like, that's what I need. Girl, that whole thing about I mean your friends, and my friends, girl, to see that's how people be fucking on friends and shit too, by the way. Girl, your friend got his number or they're on each other's social media and shit. I'm telling y'all be getting fucked up like that too, girl. The girlfriend, the husband, what's your girlfriend number? Like, listen. I only got one single friend. My other friends are happily married and together. Bitch, I don't need your boyfriend's number. I don't even need to address your boyfriend. Bitch, when I'm there to see you, I'm there to see you. Great. The fuck? Girl, Like, so that's how your best friend be taking y'all man. That's how your best friends be over here fucking and sucking on y'all man and y'all women too, girl. That's how y'all be getting it together because y'all be trying to intermingle people together, girl. Let your man have his own friends. Let you have your own friends. Okay, definitely check in on who he's dealing with. But yeah, girl, that whole we all hanging out. Girl, that ain't happening. Girl, I'm not hanging out with you and your homeboys, honey. No, ma'am. Let me hang out with my homegirls, you hang out with your homeboys. Now, if you got a single homeboy and I got a single homegirl that want to date or try to date, I may even put that together. I don't know because, girl, if they get into it, now you and I may get into it because you're going to be like, yeah, my homeboy was saying your homegirl was being blah, 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 blah. Or I might be like, well, my homegirl was saying that your homeboy was being a player and I don't like it. Now I'm looking at him differently because he hurt my friend's heart. That's why I'm like, yeah, I'm not a friend of that. I'm not a fan of that, y'all. There's no intermingling, girl. My coworkers at work, except for my friends in person. I'm not going to bring my friends to work. I'm not going to bring my work people to my house. Like, that's not how that's going to work. Job friendships are meant to stay at the job. You're not coming to my house. We're not having no cookout. Like I said, girl, I had experiences that too. Had a coworker who did hair, came to my house, girl, and she was trying to fucking suck on my little piece. And of course, daddy was DL, so he tried to play like, he was down with it. And I told him flat out, if that ever happens, we're not talking. But mama was down for it. She was like, but he's a straight man and I'm a straight woman, and that's what he's into. Yeah, but it's not about that. So she came to my house to do my motherfucking hair. And this is my friend. You're an associate of mine. Why would you even be trying to hook up and shit at my house? He's not single and looking. You might be single and looking, but girl, you didn't come here to look. You came to do my motherfucking hair, bitch. You didn't come here to look. This ain't matchmaking. And girl, so he had get a little attitude me, was calling people, asking people, what you think about it? Girl, that was a cute little, he thought he was like doing stuff too. And I told him flat out. And one more situation happened to girl. I stopped talking to his ass. But of course, people are like, I knew y'all were dating. It was just so obvious. And it's like, how was it obvious, honey? But he was, he was my homeboy, Anyway, let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Who said, okay, hey, Debbie. Okay, y'all here. Okay, hey, Tina, shit, how you doing? Okay. Yeah, okay. Hey, Missy, hey. So the spirits will wreak havoc because they want to build a relationship with you. Yes, 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 King of Sheba. Let me tell you something. Something that is not spoken of in the spiritual community, and I hope you're still here, King of Sheba. Something that is not spoken of in the spiritual community is discipline. Whether you are a Satanist, a Luciferian, a Shemite, a Mason, whatever, everything is discipline because through discipline, you gain self mastery skills. And so it's not about people owning and controlling you, but it's about you owning and controlling yourself. This is why when you're initiated into spiritual practices, there are certain rules and guidelines that you have to abide by to see if you can hold yourself, to see how much control you have over yourself. Because you don't have control over yourself, you don't have control over spirits. So going into the African aspect of it, they still instill discipline, but the ancestors are here to teach you something about yourself. And that's what people be overlooking. That's what I said, I don't get you down with those ancestor veneration conversations and shit because they already be giving me funny vibes. Anyway, we have the hoes out here talking about the Chinese people burning Chinese money and shit. Girl, if you really about the life, girl, burn the American dollar and offer to your ancestors. That's the money that they spent. Can we talk about it? Your ancestors spent American US dollars. They weren't spending no Qing, Stao Zhang, Jade Emperor dollar bills. Can we talk about it? And so that's what they would do. They would beat your ass together and get you together. And this is for any type of spirit, not just your ancestors, King of Sheba, all spirits that you feel like you're connected to. They humble you. They teach you discipline. And they're nice about it when you're first learning. And then once you learn the discipline, then they're more lenient with you. If they're beating your ass every single day and you're not getting the picture and you're thinking that people are fucking you up, you're not getting the picture. So this is why you keep getting fucked up by your ancestors. And I always tell people a lot of curses and hexes be inner conflict. It be self-inflicted. It be your ancestors and your spirits trying to wake you up because you're not doing what it is that you should be doing to connect with them. You're half-ass doing it, but you want the full service. You're half-ass venerated, but you want the full service. So definitely, and I'm willing to oppose this argument to anybody, definitely your ancestors, the Orishas, your deities, Odin, Ogun, all these energies you're connected to are about discipline. Lakshmi, Oshun, no matter how sweet and nice they are, even angels. Angels are not subordinate energies to you. Angels are here to assist you and they will teach you your lessons. So that you may have done something, you may do something, and you may not have understood the concept. So something will happen lightly and they would tell you to wake up. You have a wake up call. Same thing with your ancestors. They whooped your mama's ass. They whooped your great grandmama's ass. I would think that your ancestors got their ass beat. Can we talk about it? I think discipline is important in every household. And so, baby, yeah, the ancestors will be getting y'all together before they be getting these white folks together. Why do you fuck about these white folks treating y'all fucked up if y'all treat yourself fucked up? Can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? Why would the ancestors, if the ancestors understand that the programming of the white man and the white woman is to teach black people that they're less than them and to treat them like 1/3 of the humans that they are? Can we talk about it for a minute? This is what they said back in the day. If the ancestors understand this type of programming and this mindset, they're not here to change these people's mindset. They're here to show you how to maneuver around these type of people with this mindset because they did it. The same people who had the mindset in the 1800s had the same mindset in 1900s. And the same people who had the mindset in 1900s got the same mindset in 1950, 1940, 1970, 1980, 1990, and bitch, even in 2020 motherfucking 5. If somebody is racist now, they were taught to be fucking racist. Okay? That's a bloodline thing. So like I said, your ancestors will be checking your ass and telling you, teach you how to be a better father, be a better mother to your children. Let's not negate that. The ancestors teach you how to be better to your brethren, regardless if if this gay person, this black person is gay, regardless if they're Muslim, regardless if they don't eat pork, regardless if they speak funny, they walk funny, they act funny. Bitch, you are your brother's keeper. They should be able to come to you and get the love and the support that they need from themselves, because you are a reflection of them, they're a reflection of you. So at the same time, you're saying that, but yet you don't like black gay people and you're a black straight person, doesn't make sense to me. And like I said, to even go to add salt to fucking injury, to downplay the motherfucker. Like I said, maybe y'all ancestors are dumb as fuck. I don't know. And I'm not saying you, Jay. I'm saying like maybe those who be saying that about ancestors, maybe their ancestors are dumb. I don't know. Maybe they still peaky packy, wicky backy, I don't know, pig eating, shit eating ass spirits. I don't know. But I know my motherfucking ancestors, bitch. They're not playing that. Girl, before they get together, a white woman for calling me the N-word, they're gonna assess, well, what were you doing around this? How were you behaving? What were you doing? Are your T's crossing your I's out? Because see, people be trying to act like the house be clean, but the house be dirty. People be sweeping and throwing shit in the closet. People be throwing their trash and shit underneath the bed. People be throwing their garbage in the hall closet and shit. And when it comes time for the doors to open, the trash fell out. Now they want to say, where does this come from? You. But then on the outside, while the inside's dirty as fuck, down here sweeping everybody else's porch and shit off. Let me sweep your porch off, baby. You call me the N-word and I gotta check you on it. But your mama called you the N-word. Your baby daddy called you a hoe. You called your baby daddy a bastard. You said your baby daddy weren't worth shit. So why are you mad at the white man said the same thing? And y'all keep saying all day long that it's the black mentality or black people got brainwashed white people. Girl, get the fuck out of here. I'm sick of hearing that bullshit too, girl. Get out of here, girl. Go get help for it then. Go home. Go home and get a healing then, lady, sir. Go home and get a healing then. That's what it comes down to. Go get a healing. Because it sounds like you're healing and traumatized. You sound like you need a healing and you're traumatized. You don't want to be healed. You're blaming everybody else for your fucking wounds and not yourself. And even if they are, okay, let's not blame you for being stabbed and being cut open. But it is your job to make sure that you heal properly. Can we talk about it? It's like getting surgery. The doctors cut you up and they stitch you up, but it's your responsibility to make sure that your wounds are taken care of and that you heal fucking properly. And if you follow the orders and the directions of your doctor, you will heal fine. You're not going to follow the orders and directions and now you're getting fucked up, because that's the case, there's a lawsuit there. So that's what it comes down to. The same thing with this. I do not believe, tapping in or non-tapping in, that the ancestors give two flying fucks about what any of these plantational people are doing with these resorts, in my honest opinion. I think that when the ancestors rejoice in the unity of their descendants, I think that when the ancestors rejoice in their descendants finding their tribe of people, I feel like when the ancestors are seeing and witnessing the healing of their descendants, letting go of all trauma, all resentment, all ashamed, all regret, self-hate, self-pity, because it's all the same. Self-pity is that's the number. Ooh, girl, that's one of the worst fucking sins that I think certain people have. It's self-pity. Once that shit start getting healing, then I'm going to say the ancestors are making some moves. Girl, the ancestors gonna allow them to pass Donald Trump. Let's make this the last kid. This is going to be my last analogy, I promise you. The ancestors allowed Donald Trump to pass these laws to oppress black people in America. They didn't do nothing to the White House. The ancestors do nothing to Donald Trump. The ancestors ain't doing shit at all. He haven't got tripped up. He haven't fell out his cart. He haven't, busted his ass open. Girl, everything is checking out. Can we talk about it? It's checking out. But mysteriously, the ancestors are upset about Nottoway Plantation for having a party and rejoicing over their abuse. But yet the ancestors fought to be freed. They fought for certain rules to be passed. They fought for equal rights. But they're not upset, right? It's the same mentality. They're not upset, though, that this man in office, who just so happens a white man, is taking away all the laws and shit that they worked so hard to make sure that they have held. Come on in here. Can we talk about it? They made sure that their descendants had a good life. They fought hard. They were scrubbing the motherfucking floors. They were eating scrap pieces to fucking survive. They're not upset that this white man in office is taking away the motherfucking powers and stripping their ancestors or their descendants of their fucking rights. But they're upset about a piece of property, something that is in this world that will not leave this world. They're upset that these white folks are doing stupid ass shit, which, by the way, they know that's what these white folks do. Because these white folks really gave a fuck. They would have gifted that plantation to black people. And these white folks who owned these plantations gave a fuck about how black people felt about slavery and all that. They'll be gifting all these plantations to black folks. They'll all be black-owned plantational historical museums. Can we talk about it? So like I said, missing with the bullshit, all these TikTokers and all these YouTubers, their ancestors are upset. Girl, bye. And so is your mama. Your mama is too. And you're not talking about that. The ancestors are upset, and we saw spirits coming out there, and the ancestors burnt the place down, and they put the fire out, and it came back. Wow, that's amazing. So the ancestors slapped your ass up when you cheated on your baby mama, who was a good woman to you? Your ancestors slapped you up when you impregnated 16 women in 16 different states and let them defend for themselves? The ancestors didn't slap you up or get you together when you were stealing and robbing because they worked so hard to provide for you? Back in the day, they were out here working their ass off to make sure you had a roof over your head and food in your motherfucking mouth. And you got older, you start smelling your stuff, your musty ass, you start stealing shit, lying, scamming. You don't want to work for it, and they're not slapping you up for that? Make it make sense. Like I said, I don't know. I'm willing to stand corrected. I'm willing to be the one that's detached from society. I'm willing to be the one that, I'm thinking off the rockers. I'm not really thinking right. My brain is sucked up. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to accept other people's opinions about who and what I am. Let's talk about it. But for me, make it make sense. There has to be some crazy shit going on. We got a lot of men out here, black men who impregnated black women who owe child support, who are not providing for the children, who are not doing anything for children. And some of these men are even working under the table so that the child support agency cannot find out what type of job they're working at. Hell, some of these people moved out of state and shit. They're not even in contact with their baby mama, girl. They can't even find their baby mama. The baby mama can't even find them. But y'all out here trying to convince me that that's what the ancestors wanted. So they're going to leave y'all alone. They're going to say, fuck, yeah, let's let the black man disrespect the black woman. But we're going to go over here and we're going to fight this plantational war. We're going to fight this plantational war. That's going over there. Tell me all these white people, y'all proving them right. Y'all proving them right, honey. And I'm not saying you're proving right, Jay. I'm just saying those who have that mindset, with all due respect, the Dr. Valerie's and stuff, honey, that was the first one I saw. The ancestors are rejoicing. I'm just like, what? I would like to know your story. Respectfully, I would like to know your story as a black woman. If you have any kids, was the baby father in your life? How did he treat you? I would like to know, even when it came down to providing for your family and all this other good stuff, were you treated well by your other black counterparts? And if so, if you were not, did the ancestors come in and do what they did to the Nottoway plantation? Did they strip that shit down? Like, that's my thing. I want to know. Okay, I can definitely handle a real conversation. Yeah, Huda Voodoo would have sparked an actual interest in those cultures thorough, and most people claiming those magics that don't adopt on their culture practices. Like, you said it. You said it. Well, that's what I said, I'm willing to always stand corrected too. Almost all of the black Americans who allege that they practice voodoo or hoodoo are only practicing the watered down version. And even in a sense of they're acting like karma is something that the white man instilled in them. And I'm just like, baby, African spirituality believe that these orishas will fuck you up if you ever go against their divinity, which is your power too. They believe that, like, let's say Ogun, like he's against thieves and liars and shit, scammers. A lot of these people who have got arrested for bank fraud and stuff, they claim that Ogun is one of their warriors. So Ogun is against thieves, but he okay with you stealing from a system of people that put into that, because you're not just stealing from the government, you're stealing from people who work and have to pay their taxes like me. So the ancestors are okay with you stealing from hardworking people who also protect by the exact same spirits. But yeah, girl, bye. Yeah, girl, bye. That's it. I'm keeping that. Girl, bye. Is there a solar spirit similar to Kali Ma? Yes, there is. I'm actually going to um hmm, that might be a little in depth though. I'm actually gonna do a deity class, but I'm thinking how could I go into that and keep it short and cute, where it's not going on hours and hours and hours. But yes, girl, I seen some lady at Kurgis like that, right, all the time. She was white, right, right. She was white, right, and she had hella white facial hair. But this is my thing. But it wasn't long like a beard. And I even had this talk with someone, Debbie, another trans individual, who said, well, in my mind, I see myself as a woman. So I always think to myself, like, there are women out there with no hips, no thighs, no breasts, no hair. So I don't feel like I have to emphasize on that, right? And I'm like, but you said it. These are women that look like that. These are women who probably had enough. You, on the other hand, you don't have the same privilege. Yeah, women can go out without their nails done, their hair done. They go out without their feet getting done. They go out, with a baggy shirt on, some sweatpants on, because people could still see their ass. People could still see their breasts. People could still see that's a woman. When you are gender questionable, or it's not really obvious of what gender you are, I mean, it's like, girl, and even going into having gender dysphoria, in your mind, you're not thinking, well, other women look like this too. You're thinking about you. Like, well, I don't feel like this makes me feel like this is not womanly to me. This doesn't make me feel like a woman. So let me not do it. You're not thinking of, well, there are women who do that. Yeah, because this woman might be a lesbian. This might be a tomboy. This might be a woman who act like she like man, but she really want to be a man. So you're kind of equating and kind of making it, like I said, you're proving people right that trans people are just confused individuals, people that are that are traumatized, and for that reason they feel like they're a woman, and they're really not. These are men with trauma, and that's what this comes down to. So I'm like, yeah, they're a woman with hair and shit, but that's a woman. You're tall as hell. You got a full face of hair, long ass beard. You got a deep ass voice. You have on men's clothing. The only thing that they know that you're a woman by is your long hair and your makeup. It's like, baby, that's not to say. Okay. That old white lady was a door greeter. She was so rude too. I know that's right, honey. Come on, white hair. Yes. It does, King of Sheba. That's how I tell them. And I'm really trying to, preach this to people that I know. Stop letting the news deter you. Stop letting the news and other places pump fear into you. If you are a magical being, you do not abide by the rules of the mundane people. Those rules do not apply to you. Oh, by the way, they just passed the law where you cannot blah blah blah. You know how many laws they've had passed, even back in the day? Look up dumb laws. You think that people did not do these things because they had laws in place? Ugo. I need to take my ass to bed, honey. That is so true. Oh, I already tapped that. Oh, that is so true. Our ulcers reign in our reality, so that could mean Black Americans may have more luck working with Yakua than Ogun. Well, you said it, but also going into this as well. There's something that I teach, and I'm like, I don't think it's as basic as I think it is. Like, I think it's basic because that was the first thing I learned how to do. but I also feel like I came into this realm advanced. And of course, we talk about this very lightly and politely. And of course, it kind of came full circle. I was in a program called GATE program, GATE. And I think the conspiracy theory right now, y'all, is that the GATE program was actually funded by the CIA to quiz gifted children to see how gifted they were, how incredibly gifted they were. And y'all, I was in GATE for like almost 4 years. Okay. And so even going like a lot of the things that I've done in GATE, I don't have strong memories of, but I do remember some of the things. And so, girl, right? So to go into that, I know that I've always been gifted. So it's like, for me, it's basic to know how to do this technique. There's a technique that everybody should learn how to do. And this technique will allow you to know yourself. And so once you know who you are, yourself will start to reflect back to you. And what I mean by yourself will start to reflect back to you, you will start to meet people who are in agreement to your spiritual contract. You will start to meet people, places, and things that will help you to excel and expand your reality and be the great to elevate. Even on the same token of that is when you have an idea about something, someone or something will speak that back to you. We're like, wait a minute, what's really going on here? And so even as a minor contribution or as a minor example of that, you knowing what your ancestors are, because there's people out there that are adopted that don't know what their culture is. They still have a right to know who they're connected to. And there's some of you that actually are incarnated because we fell from the grace, right? That's why we're here. You didn't come here to retrace all your steps. You didn't come here to acknowledge and to retrace your steps for every single culture that you've ever been a part of, because you've probably been a part of every damn culture out there. You're here to retrace your steps and to connect with the tribe or with the culture that you are most traumatized connected with. So that culture, something happened within that culture that triggered something that allowed you to come back in to reconcile that energy. And a lot of people who are Black, or let's say, we're going to stick with the Black, who incarnate here, they didn't incarnate as a Black person to gain their power back, because you already gained your power. We're working with the hierarchies. We're working with the other side. We're not worried about this simulation. We're not worried about this matrix. The battle has already been won on the other side. Something happened to you in this type of class or this type of energy that kept you trapped either in this life or the previous life or one of your lifetimes, and it could have been multiple. And so in this life, you're here to reconcile that energy. And so this is why you were born into being a white woman, or you're born into being a Black woman. But culturally speaking, in the mundane world, yes, you are African American. Yes, you are Caucasian American. But spiritually speaking, you may have Asian spirits attached to you. You may have the workings of, and I told you before, we did natal chart readings. I still offer that, where we know what spirits are with you. And people gag when they're like, wait a minute. Why would I have a Greek ancestor walking with me or a Greek energy walking with me if I'm Black American? And I told y'all, shout out to, and of course I love my feedback, girl, but if they come back, they come back. They don't. I can always share these emails. Okay. We have two testimonies from two people over the years who was looking for love, who found love, and immediately got back to me. We have other people who reached out to me after they found their mate, but they didn't reach out to me immediately to tell me that they found it. They waited until things got bad, and they're like, hey, just so you know, I did attract the man you told me I would, but it's now something that's going on. I don't know what's going on. I need to get a reading, whatever. But either way, one of them in particular was a nomad, right? She traveled a lot. And I told her, based off her natal chart, that you're traveling a lot because you're trying to find who you are. And in your travel, because she made it sound like she was only traveling in America in a little, tour van and shit. I was like, I see you traveling the world. I see you going to a lot of places. You like traveling. I see you on boats, on planes, on trips, on ships. I see you on everything. And one of the places that stand out for me is Asia. And you have a strong connection with Asia. Now, mind y'all, this is a Black African American woman who identified as Black African American who had dashiki on, uh, shells, cowrie shells, and dreadlocks. And when I told her that she had a Greek ancestor or Greek energy and an Asian deity that's with her, that she needs to rekindle that energy, that's when she's going to find the man of her dream. And this lady ended up going to Thailand. And when she went to Thailand, she met the man of her dreams. And now, mind you, she didn't tell me any of this until after I told her what she should do, what I'm seeing for her. Because, of course, I don't want you to give me a feedback about your story. And Jay, you know, you've done readings with me. Don't tell me no rundown on what's going on. You know, I ask the question, I get the answer, and you elaborate what, you know, am I connecting or not? But yeah, she went to Thailand. She met this guy. He was an instructor, and the rest is history. And so the second time after she gave me the whatever, she met this man, and she said, you know, I found this man within two weeks of coming here because I believe she was in London at the time. But she was like, you know, I want to know if this is the man. I told her yes, it's the man. And I even described it because I could see this man even right now as we're talking. I can see what this man looked like. Like he's Thai, but he's giving me like Japanese traits. And she was like, I was even thrown off. And like I said, I got the email, y'all. If y'all ever need me to share this, definitely share with you. But so that's what it is. Like people need to find out who they are connected to. Stop getting caught up in the songs that you're Black American, so you're only connected to African ancestors, and those are the ones you need to go console and yeah, it's halfway true. Yes, you're right. It's halfway true, especially if you're born in the Black community. But there are white people who have African ancestors, and they also could work with those energies. They also need to reconcile those energies. That's how that works. Okay, come on, Rico. 80s, baby. Yeah, I think our generation possessive friendship. I can be possessive. Okay, there you go. Okay. Okay, so it is the 70s and 80s. Okay. And what I mean by possessive, Rico, meaning if you are friends with somebody, you want to also be friends with the people that they befriend. You want their number. You want to be able to hang out with them as well. I need to see this person. Are you meaning that type of possessiveness? I would love to know. Ow! Curse course. Come on in here. Magic is discipline. It is. It is, honey. You have to be self-disciplined. Even the most experienced magi moves with great caution. Even the most powerful, experienced magi moves with great caution. Just because you know how to do something, don't mean you should. That's what they say. Not to also mention, just because you're in yourself, like it's a lot with a lot. Like I said, we do have, new high magic, stuff that we talk about that's even posted on the blog spot. And of course, we're going to be posting more, but we talk about things from a high perspective. I told y'all there's a lot going on. I'm going to speak about, certain things until after it's all complete. There's some legal positive things going on. We'll just put it like that. Once it's done, once all the legal shit is done, y'all, I can get back when I can do what I gotta do, be focused, and yes, girl, get into the thing, vamp our shit up like I said I was gonna do, and we call it a day. But yes, y'all, let me go, honey. I feel myself getting like cross-eyed and shit, honey. My body's like, go to bed, honey. Last time I went to bed at 12. I'm gonna say like 12:40, 12:50, y'all. So I'm like, yeah, let me get myself in this bed, honey. Okay. Love and light, y'all. twospiritmystic.blogspot.com, and of course, 2aspiritmystic@gmail.com. Y'all listen, it was good chat with y'all, King of Sheba, Debbie, and of course, Rico. It was good seeing y'all as always. Listen, y'all, I know, listen, I'm just going to surprise y'all. We got something for y'all, okay? We got something for y'all this week. Happy Memorial's Day, y'all. I hope y'all doing a lot. I hope y'all relaxing, but also staying on top of y'all shit. Hello, hello, hello. Anyway, y'all, bye for now. Love and light, two spirit mystic.blogspot.com. Bye for now, y'all. Love and light. And